Hey fam, happy Friday. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely evening, a lovely night, whatever you want to call it. I just got in the door. Baby, oh, there's so much to tell. But I'm going to summarize it. I got in about, I say about good 20, 30 minutes ago. Excuse my hair. My hair is a mess right now, but it was nicely pressed because I hit the flat iron and the oil sheen and stuff to it. But with this crazy weather we've been having out here in Virginia, my hair started immediately frizzing up because it got a little humid out here. And I was just like, no, my hair is frizzing up. I don't like when my hair frizzes up. So it's kind of a mess right now. But anywho, let me tell y'all about girls' night out. So Um, long story short, I believe I mentioned this on the last live I did a couple of nights ago. And I mentioned that I recently got a new girls' crew. So basically, what happened was one of my coworkers at the job decided to officially reintroduced me to a couple of the ladies that are in our building that work with us. And mind you, these are all people in different departments, so we don't work all in the same department. But anywho, um, he basically went up to each one separately, and he was just like, "Hey, you remember Daphne? She's fairly still new here. Blah blah blah. So she's moved out here from Texas. She doesn't really know people like that. And I figured since you ladies like to go out and hang out and travel places, I figured she would be the perfect match to string along. Since you guys like to go out and have a little ladies' night, show her a good time, go out for like tacos or margaritas or whatever y'all do. And we exchange numbers. And they're a very mature group. It's about three of them total. Um, but anyway, we all decided in a group chat, because now we have a group chat, yay, that we were going to go meet at a Mexican restaurant not too far from here. I say it's about a cool 15 minutes or so from downtown. So, anywho, we all meet up around happy hour time frame. I want to say like 3 o'clock ish, 3:30, and um, we sat at the bar at first, but then we moved to a table because we were waiting on one more lady to come. And then when we all got there, we had pretty much for pre gaming. We got our little margaritas, you know what I'm saying? I had me a couple of frozen margaritas. I love me a good house margarita. Ooh, yes. With some chips and salsa and queso. Oh, hell yes. Baby, when I say we had a time tonight, we had a time tonight. And I'm not going to lie, y'all. This is probably one of the best girls' night out experiences I've ever had. Honestly. Because I don't know if I've told y'all before, but I'm a naturally introverted person. I'm like a hermit crab, especially when it comes to the job. Because I have a lot of trust issues, especially not knowing people very well when I get to like a new space and a new job. I'm not gonna just quickly introduce myself. Like I've hung around these ladies like during like a company function, like a luncheon, like a going away deal for somebody that was retiring or whoever, but we've never personally talked outside of work. We've always kept work and, personal business separate as it should be. However, something in the back of my mind said, these ladies seem pretty mature, for their ages, and they seem like they have their shit together. Um, they seem like they're a cool crowd to hang out. Like, you know how you can feel the energy around somebody and you can feel like in their spirit they're a positive person. Like these people were very positive. And I just like the diversity of the whole group. Two of them are black women. I would say mid 40s. late 30s. And the last one is a Puerto Rican woman. And they all have children. And I believe two of them have husbands, but the other one is a divorcee, I believe. She used to be married. But what I really, really, really like is how each one of them made me feel so welcome. And we all were so engaging. We all engaged in conversation and we all shared, different experiences about our past lives and stuff. And it was fun. It was nice. It was, just typical girl talk. Y'all know how it be because women get real catty. And baby, there were some conversations that I will probably never say on this internet, only because of the graphic content. But we had fun. I will say though, um, if it wasn't for the older black guy that works with us for introducing us again and basically getting us to all exchange numbers with each other and saying that we should meet up and stuff, I would have never blinked twice or thought twice about hanging out with any of these people. Especially knowing that I'm in a new state, I'm starting over. I've been through hell and back, you know what I mean? And coming to a new space, I want to protect my energy and I definitely want to protect my peace. Because one thing I will tell y'all right now ain't nothing, and I mean nothing, like positive energy and peace. Because I've been through people who super low vibrational, super low vibrational. I'm talking about hood hoes and everything. And to be honest, this is probably by far the most professional setting of a girls' night out that I've ever experienced. Seriously. Because even when I lived in Texas, I felt like a lot of people weren't naturally genuine. They weren't really, you know, expressing themselves or they were just holding shit back. Like, you know how you talk to somebody and you're like, hey, this is what I got going on, A, B, C, and one, two, three. And you're like pouring your life into them, with your experiences and your advice or whatever. But then the other person is super one sided. They don't really share much. They just share a little bit to give you a little something, but they don't give you much information. Like they're very reserved. I stay far away from it because that just tells me you will share what you want to share with me, but then you'll go behind my back and probably talk about me like a dog because there are a lot of women who are very messy, very competitive, and jealous and bitter. And I didn't get not one hint of that energy from any of these women. Because I'm going to tell you, when I say I hung out with some of the most grownest, classiest set of women tonight, we had some real grown women conversations. Oh, yes, we did. And we made it fun, It was all about having fun. And you know what the crazy part is, y'all? This is only part one of Girls Night Out. We have a part two tomorrow night. One of the ladies, one of the black ladies, also invited me out to game night. I said, "Oh Lord, I'm kind of nervous about game night. What y'all be doing on game night? Because you know me, I'm on my business. I collect my check and I go. I don't bother folks. I don't do shit after work with folks. I literally just go to work, Uber on the weekends sometimes, and then go to fuck home, and maybe do some homework, maybe. But when they say game night, she was like, "Oh, we do, some drinking games, like taking shots, beer pong, blah blah blah, or playing card games, and sometimes we'll do like hip hop lyric games, like guess the lyric to the song." I said, "Oh, that sounds like fun. Okay, I can get used to this." So, um, they didn't exactly specify what time that she was going to be starting game night. But I know one of the ladies said that tomorrow she's actually going to be home with her little setup doing a concert series deal. She said that she's going to be tuning into Bad Bunny, I believe is his name. It's a Puerto Rican rapper, very popular artist. And she said that Bad Bunny is having a concert that's going to be streaming live, I believe, on Amazon Prime. And she said she's ready to see her dude, and she got her TV set up, and she about to have a ball in her living room. I said, I don't blame you. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So I think it's just only going to be me, the lady that invited me to her home, and possibly the other black lady. I don't know if she's coming. She didn't confirm whether or not she was going to come, but I'm a little excited. I was just like, okay, this is what's up. I like this. I like getting an invite to do things. This is really cool. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but whenever I did hang out with people, especially back home in Texas, and I'm not even talking about like home, like where my hometown is. I'm talking about like my home city when I was living in the Dallas area. A lot of the women that I came across in different spaces, whether if it was from work or whether if it was from like, I don't know, school or whatever, because y'all know I went to college and stuff. I never, and I mean never, had anybody invite me into their own personal space, except for like maybe one person that I can think of when I was living in Dallas. And I was living in Dallas for a solid hot 3 years. And the only person at that whole entire funky ass city of people who put on a facade, people who are genuinely fake as fuck, I might add, there was only one person that I could think of on top of my head. And she was a little bit older of a black woman. She's like in her late 40s as well. And she happens to be um, a gay black person. She has a stud girlfriend, and I believe she's originally from New Orleans, and I believe her girlfriend was originally from Atlanta, but they happened to move to Dallas for some jobs. Now, I actually worked with the black lady who happened to be a nurse, the one that invited me into her home with her girlfriend to hang out for the holidays. And not only did I hang out with them for the holidays, but I also hung out with them on multiple occasions. When I said she was a true ride or die coworker that I actually worked with and actually invited me into their personal spaces without even batting an eye, and I barely like talked. I would just say like hi and bye, and we would, exchange conversations or whatever. She was the only person out of all those people I met that took the time to invite me into their personal spaces. And I just felt so special. But of all the rest of the motherfuckers that I met in that city, except for Miss Loretta, that's like the only person I can think of who was another older black lady in her 50s or 60s or whatever. Besides her and the lady I met through work at the hospital that I used to work at, those are the only two black women that actually invited me into their homes and to hang out with them. And I'll be honest, I've basically learned that when you meet people, you have to take your time and really get to know a person before you start really getting into their personal spaces. Because the type of person that I am, like I said, I have a lot of trust issues with people I don't really know very well. And the only reason I hung out with the older black lady, the first one I met when I first got to Dallas around 2022 timeframe, 2023-ish, is because we met through a virtual group. We were through, it was some kind of like a content creation group, Impact Creator Society, ICS. So that group was run by a very popular YouTuber named Anthony O'Neill. And that's how we met. And I met her along with another black lady, but she was a little bit younger. And she was around my age. I say in her mid 30s, somewhere around there, early 40s. But anywho, I hung out with her like maybe a couple of times. I would say like maybe two or three times, and she's sweet. However, she was all about business and hustle. And I don't blame her because she's originally from New York. You know, New Yorkers, they're all about, move, move, hustle, hustle, get money, whatever they got to do. And every time that I always met up with her, there was always something behind the hanging out. There was always like, oh, I need help. Can you help me, with my website? Can you help me with my business cards, my flyers, blah, blah, blah. And I don't mind helping somebody out until a certain extent. Let me explain. When you use me for your benefit, and in return, I get nothing from this, but like maybe a couple of dollars for helping you, it kind of puts a little stain on, the meaning of friendship. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of made me feel a certain way, like, nigga, you use me for your gain because you knew that I was tech smart and you weren't very tech smart with the computer stuff, which I know she's much older, whatever. But my point is, out of all the times I hung out with her, we ate out, whatever, I didn't really feel like I was getting anything out of the friendship, if that makes sense. I felt like it was very one sided. Y'all know how when you meet somebody and you want to do something, but they don't want to do something, because I know everyone's going to agree to disagree. They're not going to be on the same page all the time. But then when you feel like you've just been bending over backwards and you've been doing like extra shit on top of shit, but then they haven't really been pulling their weight as far as the friendship, that's what I'm talking about. Silly shit like that. Because ever since I moved to Virginia, it's like people have fell off the face of the earth. When I say people's true colors, whoo, baby, have started coming out ever since I moved here. I will tell you on one hand how many people I've heard from since I've left Texas. And that's only two. Two people. Since I left Texas, only two people from that fucking state have contacted me and kept in touch with me to see how I'm doing. And occasionally they call every now and then. Sometimes they'll text me or whatever. But the one person that checks on me on occasion to see how I'm doing or whatever is the nurse chick, the lesbian couple, and the other chick, my homegirl Drea. We've been knowing each other since 2016. I used to work at the VA with her at the other hospital, and as dingy and cuckoo as she can be sometimes, she is so sweet. She's just a real friend. Let me be honest. She's like a real one. Like, she's been there for me since day one. And no matter where I am in the world, she will pick up the phone and call me. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, just to see how I'm doing, to check on me and to make sure everything is okay or whatever. That's a true definition of a real friend. The other ones I can't really speak for, that I came across and met past with, but sometimes I learned in life you can't bring everybody with you. Sometimes you have to cut the ones off that you known the most for years and years and years, or from your past life that really don't associate with you or fuck with you like that. Or you just distance yourself. You just maintain rapport, be cordial with the motherfucker, and move on. That's the way I see it. And man, I just can't stop thinking about this girls' night out experience. Let me tell y'all. Oh man, it was just it was just nice for once to be around women, grown ass women on top of that, that don't argue in public, don't act a fucking fool in public, don't act ghetto, none of that shit. It was just nice to know that I finally came across a set of grown ass women with goals, ambition, drive, positivity, and they can actually behave. And it's just like it's so hard in my generation as a millennial. Let me tell y'all something. I stopped fucking with the younger generation a long time ago because the people in my generation, and I'm talking like between mid 20s to like mid 30s. I don't know what range millennial runs from, but the last time I checked, I want to say you're considered a millennial if you're born between the 80s to like the 90s. Now, anything after the 90s and the 2000s, you're a fucking Gen Z. Your generation is cooked. Sorry, but not sorry. Gen Z, there is no going back. We cannot save Gen Z. I hate to say it. Like, I will never, and I mean never ever, hang out with Gen Z characters. I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with y'all. But just know I stand on business with grown ass women. You're either a millennial or you're somebody around the Gen X era. Just depends how far we talking about as far as age gaps. But I just love the camaraderie. I love the backgrounds. We all have similar backgrounds. We all come from military backgrounds. And I just love the fact that we could actually have controversial conversations where people don't get upset, like ranging from, politics to like, and I don't even really care about politics like that, to like relationships to whatever. Just talking about everything and anything. Like when I say we spent hours in that Mexican restaurant tonight, we spent hours talking. Out of all the 37 years of my life, I have never, and I mean never, ever, 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 took the time out of my busy day, especially on a Friday night, to hang out with people from the job in professional spaces that actually have a good time, that don't hate on each other, they're not bitter, and they're not trying to compete with nobody. And it's just all about having fun. I swear it's different energy here on the East Coast. I hate to say it. The motherfuckers down south are backwards. Okay? Even though I'm from the South, I'm gonna tell you right now, as a true Southerner from a very small podunk hillbilly town of 5,000 people, even though I traveled the world, even though I've been in bigger cities, I lived in bigger cities, I've had both sides of of different experiences as far as the city and small towns and stuff like that. It's a huge difference when you take a leap of faith and you go into a foreign space that you have never been in, like what I did, and you just go from there and start over and mingle, make connections, try to network with people, and make new friends and call it a day. Like when I say this was like one of the most refreshing girls' night out experiences I've ever had, I'm not joking. I'm not even exaggerating, honestly. Like, we were so amped up and so excited for this event tonight that we were talking about this event through the group chat. And we were talking about, like the places where we're going to eat. Like, before we even got to this point, we were all sharing ideas about what restaurants we wanted to go to, what kind of night we wanted. So we wanted like a chill night with a cigar lounge, or Do we want like an amped up night with like karaoke? Like what kind of night we trying to get into, or what or do we just want to eat and just have margaritas and chill and just do happy hour? And we said we're all going to do happy hour for our first girls' night out, whatever. But yeah, I even explained to them. I said I'm gonna be honest, since y'all are so honest and thorough, and I mean thorough. I mean they didn't hold shit back. They didn't sugarcoat anything. I said, this is probably by far one of the nicest girls' night out experiences I've ever had in my entire life. I said, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not joking. I said, the places where I came from, the places where I lived, I don't know if it's a Texas thing or if it's just a Southern thing, but people in the South are different from people on the East Coast. I'm so serious. Like, it's a different vibe. When you're in the South, people's mindsets are fucked, like legit fucked. Like I'm talking like majority of them, not all of them, are not in the right headspace. They're, you know, down on their luck. They're not doing well, and they're just angry at the world. And I came across the best of both worlds: people who are super bitter and angry at the world and taking it out on me, or people who are happy but they weren't satisfied or happy enough with their lifestyle and they wanted more and they wanted to compete with you and they wanted to show off and brag about prized possessions that they never really had. That's the shit I'm talking about. Like, it's like big country bumpkin energy down south. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a different vibe. You either got the rich ass Farmer Joe Negro that has a shit ton of land in the country, and all he does is drinks his whiskey, his moonshine, and gets his hogs, and gets his cows, and gets his horses, and he just sits on a porch all day and gets drunk all damn day, or smokes his pipe or his cigar. Or you also got those people in the country that do go out. They do go places, they do go to clubs, but it's like a hot girl summer. And all they want to do is just shake ass and just have no drive, no ambition, no goals whatsoever. And then they talk about you like a fucking dog. Like, I don't know what it is, but the South is different. I'm going to tell you right now, the experiences with hanging with folks in the South and probing different mindsets, it's like they're either holier than thou, but super hypocritical because a lot of them claim that they're super Christian and they're really not, or they're very judgmental. I've came across a lot of people who are super uber duper judgmental as fuck. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. The people over here, complete 360. It just depends where you go and where you meet these people in the different spaces. This is different. Like I said, this is a professional space. These are people from the JOB that I met with really good positions. And they're not too bougie. They're not too fucking stuck up like majority of the people I've met in my life. And they're not trying to compete. They genuinely just want to have a good fucking time. And they just want to unwind and relax and be themselves. But no, the people back home, they don't do that shit. I'm gonna tell you what my hometown is like. I don't know if I ever explained this to y'all, but here's a little short story about my hometown. My hometown was literally born and bred on the backs of a German Czech heritage community. And in that same community of white folks, because majority of that town is white, it's very fucking divided. And I'm talking so divided to the point where you got blacks on one side of the town, and you got whites on one side of the town. Like, think of rural Mississippi, but in the Midwest with quote unquote gentrified apartment areas, but then they're hella racist to their to the other kind of people. Like, for example, If you're trying to get Section 8 housing and you're black or you're Hispanic and you just got to that town or you're a green card holder, they will frown upon you. They won't say it to your face. They won't call you the N word or nothing, but they will talk about you like a dog, and they will find a way to keep you away from that said community because of the color of your skin. Because people are so damn prejudiced, it's sickening in that town. And a lot of them are so down on their luck and they're so like just I don't give a fuck type of attitude. I don't care about the world. It's like sink or swim. If you stay in that town, you literally become a product of your own environment. You either stay on Section 8 or you stay in a country with no running water, no plumbing, and all you know is literally cows and drinking on the porch, or you just playing spades and fighting at some raggedy ass juke joint wannabe club hole in the wall because that's all there is in that town. Like when I say there's nothing in that town, there's absolutely nothing in that town. There's no real entertainment. You have to go to the next town over to go watch a movie. You can't go to the movies down there. There used to be a bowling alley when I was a kid. Then they tore it down after I graduated high school. Don't know why they tore down the bowling alley. They only have like a couple of fitness centers and a lot of fast food spots that are super unhealthy as hell. And then maybe a few bistros in a little town square and a farmer's market. But it's like super country vibes. And it's perfect for the old folks. If you're old and you don't want to be bothered by the city folk, that is a perfect spot for you. If you don't want to have shit around you and you just want to sit on your porch all day in your rocking chair, that is the place for you. If you're young and you're eager and you're willing to get out and do something, you have to leave that town. Unfortunately, you do. That town is built specifically for the older generation and for retirees. Unless you're retired or old, there is no purpose for you in that small town. And honestly, a lot of people that I know of that went to school with me have left that town. They went to the city. It didn't work out. They failed in life. They ended up moving back to that town. And now they're in a worse situation than what they were in before. But you know what's crazy though? Every time I went back to my hometown and I would come across certain people in the grocery stores, they would all ask me the same thing. Hey, are you back in town? I ain't seen you in a minute. I see your mom and them all the time. How you been? I've been all right. I've been good. I've been working. And now I'm just visiting. That's it. I'm not back in the town. And they still in the same very spot that you seen them at about 10, 15, 20 years ago in that same shitty ass store or the same shitty ass restaurant. And you just think to yourself, why did you stay? Something here. Now they do have some little opportunity there now that COVID has passed. They did build a Domino's pizza the last time I checked. Now that town has delivery, they don't know how to act. They haven't ever had delivery as far as like pizzas and stuff in the past 30 or 40 plus years. That's how far behind it is and how backwards it is. And on top of the pizza spot, now they got a Starbucks. I don't know if the Starbucks is open, but the last time I checked, my dad said that they were getting a Starbucks. It's like the big talk of the town. It's on the front page of the newspaper. I'm just like, if you like that, if that's your speed, go ahead. It's not for me. Like when I say I was so ready, and I was so ready to get up out of there after high school. I was not joking. And that's one reason why I'm so glad I kind of went off and did the military experience and did that and went from there. Because even though my experience was shitty in the army, it opened up doors for me. Literally opened up doors. I got a lot of nice jobs. I got my first car when I was in the army and stuff, upgraded cars and stuff. And I just made good decisions, very good business decisions. I'm not overly successful. I'm still trying to survive and shuck and jive for massa. However, I'm learning. I'm learning, surely but slowly. But the point is, if you want to change, your life, or you want to make a difference and you really want to be successful, you have to get out of your environment. Because let me tell y'all something. It really pains me to know that the people I knew from way back when, and I'm talking about smart people, smart motherfuckers I recently reconnected with online through like social media, like TikTok and stuff, they literally are not working. They're doing a bare minimum. They're at the Dollar Tree, the Family Dollar, whatever. They're somewhere. HEB grocery store, Walmart. Ain't nothing wrong with those jobs. I'm not knocking them because they work there. However, I'm like this. If you're damn near 40 plus something years old, I feel like you may have failed sometime in your life. You may have failed somewhere. You may have not failed miserably, but you definitely failed somewhere in your life. If you're still stuck between making $12 an hour to like maybe 15 an hour, sacking groceries, you failed. Hate to burst your bubble, but you failed. Let me tell y'all something. When I say my life changed dramatically for the better, I'm not exaggerating. Like after military life, I struggled. I didn't have the best of both worlds. I wasn't rich or nothing, but I was also wasn't poor either. I was in between the middle, just stringing along like everybody else in this rat race trying to figure it, out life. The biggest difference, besides the nice jobs that I've had, are the different cultures I've came across, the different connections I've made professionally and personally. And I've took that with me ever since. So it doesn't matter where I go in the world. I can be in freaking, I don't know, Japan or some shit, or I could be all the way in damn Australia, and I will figure it out and find a way and survive. Because that's me now. I changed my mindset to the point where I can actually grow for once and travel as I please and do whatever the fuck I want to do without anybody telling me what to do. It literally takes within a snap, just like this, to flip the switch and change your life. It's not hard. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I will say this. If you sit down with yourself and you quiet the noise. I came across this video last night when I was scrolling, because y'all know I'll be scrolling on the internet like TikTok and stuff. I came across this one specific video that really motivated me. And it was by a black guy named John Hope Bryant, I believe is his name. He's like a motivational speaker or some shit. Anyway, on the video, he was doing an interview with a podcast. I believe it was 85 South with Chico Bean, that comedian guy. What's the other guy's name? Chico Bean and what's the other guy's name from 85 South? God, I can't think of their names. My mind just went blank. But there's like three brothers. They travel around, different cities. They do comedy shows and stuff. It's called 85 South. Just look it up, Google it. He was on a podcast and he was talking about wealth and poor people. And he basically said, poor people talk about each other. Wealthy people talk about ideas. I'm going to explain this again. Poor people will talk about each other, but wealthy people will talk about ideas. And he's not lying. It's so true. I haven't really came across wealthy people yet, but I am determined to get into those type of spaces sometime in my life. I don't know when, but I do plan on getting in those type of spaces. And I was just like, wow, that is like a really powerful statement. Like if you really take a look at the mirror and you sit down with yourself and you quiet the noise and you write down your goals, write down what your ambitions are, whatever you're trying to do, or even create a vision board, you can literally flip the script and change everything. I'm so serious. If you block out the haters, you block out the naysayers, and you really focus on yourself, you can literally do the same thing. Like I said, you may not be rich, but you're rich in spirit. You have clean energy, clean vibes. You're around positive people, and that's exactly how I feel. I may not be physically rich or wealthy, but I'm rich in spirit. I'm around clean energy now, clean vibes, cool people, and just all around good folks that actually want good for each other. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all gonna laugh. One of the ladies, I believe it's a Puerto Rican lady, she we found out is an undercover Trumper. Now, the only reason why we say that, an undercover Trumper, is because she explained that she used to follow the Charlie Kirk guy that got unalived. Now, I'm not even going to go deep into that because I don't like talking a whole bunch about death and politics. So we're just going to leave it at that because, look, I'm not trying to lose my job over some nonsense because somebody got mad because I spoke about Charlie Kirk. Because everybody is doxing folks online and I ain't got time for the bullshit. But anyway, this is a prime example. She was given her ideas, or not her ideas, but her input on how she felt that the guy who is no longer here, the one I just named, wasn't spewing racist rhetoric that everyone keeps saying. She explained from her side of the story or her point of view that people were twisting his words around using clips, using AI, because she said you have to do your research. She said some of the stuff I didn't agree with because I was not 100% on board with him. However, some of the stuff I did agree with. And I just like the fact that he did a professional debate with other people. And if you listen very closely, it's not what people are saying, what it is. She said all that racism and the spewing of the hate and stuff. She said they're just saying that to start up a race war. And I said it might be possible, might be true, but we didn't really say nothing because our black asses, we gonna sit there and look quiet. We're like, mm-hmm. Look, we nodding like, mm-hmm. We ain't trying to argue with that shit because we're just like, okay. But I'm gonna tell you something. What I learned about people who are for like on the conservative side and people who are just What do you call them, leftists or whatever you call it. I don't argue with those people. I don't try to get my point across. I leave them the fuck alone because you know why? I'm not trying to start shit. I'm the type of person that will sit there at the table, keep my mouth shut, listen to everything that you say, and then maybe voice a little of my opinion about the topic, if that, because I'm really not interested in politics. Like I said, I'm not interested in politics nor death. And I'm just like this. I like to keep a happy space. If it is not a happy space and it involves arguing or debating on some silly shit, count me out. I'm not going to be involved in the bullshit. I will listen to you all day and y'all can debate. Y'all can filibuster, whatever the hell you call it. I'm not going to be in it because that's just not my personality. But I like to listen to the conversations. I just won't entertain the conversation either. That's just me. But oh, in case y'all are wondering what I'm sipping on, this is a Smirnoff Ice Red, White, and Berry. It's like a malt liquor. It's okay. It kind of tastes like ocean water. Y'all know that ocean water drink that y'all get at the fast food spots like Sonic and stuff and McDonald's. That's what it tastes like. It tastes like an ocean water drink. It's kind of like a soda almost, but very sweet. It's not very fancy. I mean, it's something to brag about. But yeah, stuff like that, I don't really put too much input or emphasis on it. I'm just like, yeah. And what's funny is that one of the ladies, one of the older black ladies, she even asked me some personal questions about my sexuality and stuff. She was like, so when you say, you're gay, I'm trying to understand, like, were you born like heterosexually or were you just like born gay? And I was like, huh? She was like, you know how people say like they're born gay and they always know how they felt, but they never really truly express how they felt about that person. Were you like that, or did you just, think of it as a choice? I said it was a choice personally for me. I said because I was not always part of the Rainbow Club, the LGBT whatever crew, whatever you want to call it. But I explained to her it was the experience for me, not necessarily the person or the relationships. I never really had a quote unquote girl on girl relationship with a person of the same sex. However, I will say that it was the experience. I got tired of ain't shit niggas, and I got tired of horrible, horrible experiences with men. And I'm not even exaggerating. There's a whole spiel about that. I'd have been through hell and back. And I've been through some very traumatic experiences. I've been through abuse. I ain't never had a nigga beat me upside my head, in case you're wondering. But I've had some really fucked up mental abuse. And it just made me completely turn the opposite way because I got tired of it. And I got sick and tired of, coming across the same ancient niggas who literally had good jobs, I might add, very good careers, but they were dogs. And I got tired of it. And majority of the people in my life that I did come across who I thought were good people were very evil, very demonic, and just didn't give a damn. Very selfish, I might add. But it was quite interesting how she probed me and asked me my stance on being gay and like why I chose to be gay. I was just like, I've never actually had someone make me think about it. This is the first. I said, this is quite interesting, and I'm not even mad at you. Because normally I would get a little antsy. I would feel a certain way when people ask me and question my sexuality. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to be honest. Even as a child, I've had, you know, a experience, kissing a girl, but I never fully went into it until adulthood. And when adulthood came, and I was pretty much brainwashed by parents who were baby boomers, who always forced me to go into a very Christian, non denominational church, and scolded me and said, gay people go to hell and you're going to burn for eternity in Sodom and Gomorrah and blah, 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 blah. And they always made it to seem to where it made me so uncomfortable. I couldn't even talk to them, even if I tried. Because the minute I opened my mouth and I voiced how I really felt or how I was bi-curious at one point in my life, I couldn't talk to them. They would never understand. And a lot of people who are Gen X that are raised, like traditional Christian, Southern Baptist, whatever, brainwashed as fuck. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people who come from homes like that, like mine, they're the type of people that will say they will disown their own child because of their sexuality. And that's sad. I've actually seen it from my own eyes. I've actually seen people back home who came out to their parents super holy roly, but behind closed doors, they were the biggest hypocrites of them all because the last time I checked in the Bible, and yes, I've read the Bible once upon a time in Sunday school, adultery is sin. Not just sex, not just, being gay or whatever, but adultery is a big sin. And a lot of them committed adultery, especially the damn pastor. So for them to sit up there and post judgment on somebody because of the way they operate, as far as the Rainbow Club and stuff, I find it hysterical when they try to brainwash their children as they're growing into adulthood and they try to tell them, like, you have to fix yourself. You have to do this. You have to do that. And you got to get right with God or else you're going to go to hell. Like, you would be surprised how many times I've heard throughout my entire life how much my parents were super homophobic and still homophobic to this day, I might add. This is why I don't really fuck with them that much. But I respect them because they're my elders. I always respect my elders. That's what I was taught. Even though I don't agree with their views, I will respect them no matter what. But I keep my black ass away and distance for a very good reason. And that's only because one, I'm the black sheep. And two, I'm the type of person where I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm gonna be real about it. And I'm gonna say some things on my chest you may not want to hear. Whether if it's about you or the other motherfucker I don't like. But I'm the type of person that will literally voice my opinion. And then they're the type of people that will turn around, take that opinion, gaslight me, and be a narcissist and act like they're the victim. But I'm not. Even though they tried and attempted so many times to brainwash the mentality that they have as Gen Z, or not Gen Z, Gen X, correction, Gen X, or baby boomers, whatever the fuck, to the point where you gotta get right with God or else you ain't gonna be saved. Oh my God, there's so many things. Y'all have no idea. The struggles are real, growing up in that type of household, in that type of community. But when you get out of that household and you venture out into the free world, is what I call it, you quickly see in this social setting that we currently live in, the world is a different place. You can't go out here and call people homophobic slurs and not think you're going to get punishment or any type of repercussion. You're going to get some type of punishment. You can't go out here antagonizing people because of what their sexuality is. You just cannot do that. And then on top of that, it's like, even if you don't agree with the person, sometimes it may be wise to keep your opinions to yourself, because you don't know what that person has been through. I know plenty of people from my little hometown who were either touched on as children unfortunately, and ended up turning gay because of that, being molested and stuff. And then a lot of people, if they weren't molested, they always felt like a girl or they always felt like a boy. And I've actually personally witnessed one of my classmates who was a black girl at the time when she went to school with me, and she completely transitioned into a man. Now she's a transgender. Got the whole thing and everything, cut off all her chi-chis and everything. And don't you know when she did that, and I know it's hard for people to take it and they don't agree with it, she was disowned from her own family that fast. And I want to say she didn't talk to them for a cool 2 or 3 years because of that, because they wouldn't accept her the way that she was after she transitioned. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. We live in a really crazy world where people are literally transitioning themselves and, coming out or whatever, and parents just cannot accept it. I get it. Because they want to act all hard. They don't want to have people pass judgment on them because they're that family with the transformer, or they're that family with the gay guy, or the gay son in the family, or whatever. And then it's like they try to play it off like, oh, well, it's just a phase. Maybe they'll grow out of it, not realizing there's probably some unresolved trauma that they went to, or like they probably always felt some type of way. They just never really told their parents. They never really talked about it, you know? And I feel like this. I feel like if you're going to sit up here and scold your child, about the way they feel or about the way that they're living in the world, the free world, I might add, the way this society is, you can't control them. You can't sit up here and point the finger and point the blame at the child who was probably now a grown ass adult and say, well, they didn't get that from my side of the family. They got that from Pookie and Ray Ray's side of the family because they all like that. They all that way. Because you know how the country folks say it, they all that way. I always knew that boy had a sugar in his tank. I always knew that girl was always, a bull dagger. That's how they say it, bull dagger in the country. They all talk that shit. They all talk a good game. And then when they come out to the rest of the people, the rest of the family, or the rest of the friends, then they're all shamed. Then they all get silent. And then they're just like disowning them. It's sad, but it's true. But yeah, it was just crazy how many people I personally knew back home, black and white, I might add, who either came out or they transitioned and then got disowned by their own families. You'd be surprised. But again, it's the South. I don't expect nothing more. I don't expect nothing less from the South. It's the South. I can't. I mean, it's just crazy, you know. But besides girls' night out being a success and having a great time and everything, let me tell y'all about my day at work. Child, when I say everybody, and I mean everybody, including the white folk who barely say 2 words to me, literally just stopped in their tracks the minute they saw my hair. Now, again, don't pay no mind to my hair right now. It's a hot mess because of the weather and the frizz. The humidity frizzed up my hair. But baby, when I had my hair laid, fried, and dyed to the side this morning with that hot comb, and I had the swoop bang going on, when I say everybody stopped in their tracks, everybody stopped in their tracks, and they all said something to me because everyone in that office was so used to my hair being kinky and curly. Normally, I have an afro that's like curly and stuff. I would just put water and moisturizer and mousse in here. But baby, the one day, the one time I decided to flat iron my hair because I wanted to look nice for girls' night and I wanted to do something different. They were like, "Ooh la la, looking nice today, Miss Brown. Ooh, you looking good. What you got going on? Who you looking for? You got a hot date or something?" I was floored. I laughed so hard because I was just like, "I know you fucking lying." I said, "I know you fucking lying." Literally, when I say all the white folks stopped and they complimented me, I was shocked. I said, "Well, damn, was I doing that bad?" Like, we even got one dude, he's an older white dude, uh, who's like one of the managers. He's a sweet older guy, but this guy only has one good eye. Not throwing shade, but I'm serious. Like, he recently had like some kind of eye surgery, and I don't know what's going on with the other eye, but I think he was like going blind in that eye. I'm not too sure. But even with his one good eye and the one eye patch that he normally wears on the job, he even saw it. I said, "Well, damn, One Eyed Joe saw my fucking shit from a mile away." And I was just like, okay, I'm doing bad. If somebody with one good eye can clearly see I made one simple change with my hair, I must have been doing really bad. Because when my hair was curly and in an afro and it was kind of nappy, I ain't gonna lie, I had a nappy little afro with curls in it. No one really said shit. But the minute I flat ironed my hair, everybody's in my face about it. It's just hysterical. It's comical to me. The first person, oh my God, the brother that actually hooked me up with the ladies' night deal, he was the one that was all up in my grill. He was like, "Ooh, wee, you looking good. Look at you. Okay." She even got the kitchen done in the back. I said, "If you don't leave my hair alone, get away from me." And he was like, "Oh snap! I see the ladies got you getting your hair done and stuff. You ready, huh? You excited for ladies' night?" I said, "Yeah, I guess I'm excited." I said, "And I didn't do it for that. I said I did it because I wanted to get the kinks out of my hair because I got tired of my hair, getting nappy with the curls and stuff. So I wanted to do something different. That's what I did." But anyway, I just thought it was hilarious when he said that to me. I was like, "Really, really, dude?" But yeah, he was funny as fuck. I couldn't stop laughing at him. I was just like, "Oh my God." But this is just a prime example. The minute you do a little bit of self care for yourself, and I'm talking to all the women out there that are watching this video, people will notice in a heartbeat the minute you change your hair, the minute you change your face with makeup or something. If you normally don't wear makeup like I don't, and they see a hint of eyeshadow or they see some lashes on or some lip gloss or some lipstick, they will be in your motherfucking face. Seriously. Like, I never expected so much attention today until I flat ironed my hair. And I normally don't flat iron my hair. I'm on the go. If I'm in a rush, water, mousse, and moisturizer, and a little bit of gel at times. Yeah, and it was hilarious. Hilarious. I just laughed so hard because I was just like, the one day my black ass decides to flat iron my hair, everybody in my face. People, like when I say there are people who never really talked to me that were in my face today, it shocked me. And I was just like, this is insane. People coming out the woodworks from different sections of the building literally flew to my desk because word of mouth traveled fast from the brother that was all in my face this morning, the one that hooked me up with the ladies' night. And it was like, "Oh, you looking so nice." I was just like, really? We really going there? I was just like blushing. I was just like, oh, hush. It's just straightening. I just literally straightened my hair. It's not a big deal. But it made me think when I did this one little simple change with myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to make sure the next time I go to work, I'm going to be more put together. Because I must have been doing pretty damn bad for that many people to be in my face to notice my hair being flat ironed. Because normally people don't pay attention to me. When I say people don't pay attention to me, they don't be looking at my hair like that. They don't be looking at my face like that. Like, they don't be all up in my grill like that. But the one day, especially on a Friday, it amazes me how much people notice my hair being different. It was comical. The shit was comical. But yeah, I was just like, seriously. But yeah, it was too funny. It was so funny. But yeah, I could count on one hand. There was at least one, two, three, four, five, maybe about six or seven guys that complimented me today, and a couple of women that complimented me. It was so funny, so funny. But yeah, anywho, moral of the story, ladies, and I'm talking to all the ladies right now. Keep yourself put together. That's all I got to say. Keep yourself put together. The one little change that you would never think that nobody would notice, they're gonna notice. Definitely gonna notice. Whether if it's a little bit of makeup, like I said, a little bit of lip gloss, some eyeshadow, some lashes, your hair, a hair weave, extension, whatever, your hair being braided, they're gonna notice. Keep it put together because word about travels very fast in the office space. I'm just still in shock at that shit. I was just like, really? But yeah, it just really gave me some more confidence. I'm not gonna lie, this was a confidence booster. When I saw that people recognize the littlest things, the littlest differences, it gave me a lot of confidence in myself. And I was just like, maybe I should try some more different hairstyles after all, you know? And it made me feel really good. I'm not gonna lie. All the compliments I got made me feel very good inside. It really did. I will say, um, if you allow yourself to, get motivated and do a lot of self care, you'll feel a bit better. You'll feel beautiful, honestly. Some people naturally don't feel pretty inside, and I get that as women. A lot of women feel ugly because of the way they look, the way their hair is, or they're very self conscious about certain aspects of, their body. And I get it because everyone's different, everyone's unique. But what I learned over the years, it doesn't matter who's the prettiest person in the room. It doesn't matter who's the ugliest person in the room. It doesn't matter who's the biggest person in the room or the skinniest. If they genuinely like you and they fuck with you, they're gonna let you know quickly. Because majority of the people in our building, it's not real eye candy. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of the people in our building, much older crowd, we don't have too much eye candy in there. We really don't. We have a lot more older people. And if there is eye candy that does come in that building, baby, they don't work there. Oh no, they're coming from other buildings. And it happens quite a lot because working in a military space, you'll see a lot of hot looking guys in uniform or a lot of hot looking girls in uniform. And there's a lot of people I've seen that came out like really pretty. However, Majority of the pretty ones, quote unquote, are the ugliest ones. And I'm going to tell you why. What I learned quickly is that you can be the most beautiful person in the world physically on the outside, easy on the eyes. You know what I mean? But you can also be the ugliest person in the world at the same time if you have a nasty attitude, a nasty, horrible attitude and personality. I've seen it a lot. I've seen people come through that building with horrible, horrible attitudes and be the prettiest thing in the world, but horrible attitude. It's very common, very common. I've seen some of the ugliest people come into to that building, the most calmest, friendliest people on earth. And I'm like, they're the more beautiful ones because of their personality. And it's just like, when you look at it at face value, you have to remember not everybody is going to be on the same page. Not everybody is going to be that nice, friendly, person, that happy go lucky person. Some people are just naturally assholes. And I had to learn the hard way. I always try to make friends with everybody and, keep the peace and stuff. But if people clearly don't want to fuck with you, leave them where they are at. Okay? Let them go. Just let them go. Because all you're going to do is just give yourself a bigger headache than what you need, and you can spare yourself the headache that you don't need. If you just really focus on yourself, focus on your career or whatever you're doing in life, you will be a much happier person inside. I learned that quickly. You just really have to, like I said, sit down with yourself, talk out loud, or quiet the noise, and just write down your goals, your ambition, what you're trying to do long term, what you're trying to do short term. And I look at it like this: if you treat people the way you would like to be treated, you will get good things in return. That's the way I look at life. If you treat people the opposite way, you're going to get the opposite things in life that you don't want to see. I mean, to each his own. It's just like I can preach on and on and on about this all day long, but I'm not. I'm not going to waste no more time with y'all. But I'm sorry I got off track with random topics. I just felt like I wanted to talk because I'm feeling good tonight. I had some good ass food, some good ass breakfast. Oh, let me tell y'all, I DoorDashed me some breakfast to the job. I had ordered me some pork brisket tacos. It came with like chorizo and egg and cheese. It was so delicious with a side of grits. What? And I spent a good $30 for that delivery, and it was well worth above the $30. Yes, DoorDash is high as hell, but the food be good. And I'm just like, I cannot continue to DoorDash like this. So what I'm gonna do is get back on my protein shakes like I've been doing before, and keep it to a minimum of protein. But the only reason I DoorDash today is because today was payday. That's the only reason. But other than that, nah, I wasn't gonna waste more money or whatever on unnecessary things. But yeah, we had a good old time at girls' night. We had a good old time at the Mexican restaurant, and man, the margaritas was hitting. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I was stuttering earlier. I ain't gonna lie. I was stuttering like a mug, trying to put words together. But yeah, it'll sneak up on you if you're not careful. You gotta be real careful when you go out in social settings and you start drinking like really strong like margaritas and stuff. But yeah, we had a really good time. Really good energy, really good vibes, good people all around. I loved it. And I just love that I just keep getting invites to all types of stuff back to back to back, and we just go out and have fun. It's fun, you know? I love it. But other than that, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much my day. Um, had a very busy day, you know, as usual. And yeah, it was all good. It was all good. Um, I look forward to making more meaningful friendships, you know, out here with the people in my social settings and stuff. And I look forward to building, you know, more connections, more meaningful connections. You know, I just like the fact that now when I go places, I don't have to really worry about going places by my damn self anymore. Because I'm so used to taking solo trips and stuff, and solo trips do not bother me. But now that I know I could actually mingle with a circle of women that actually do shit, they actually have fun, they go to concerts, they go to festivals, whatever, or they just go out to the, you know, sports bar just to have a good time. I just like the fact that I could just hang with somebody that has no problem hanging with me without pity. Because there are some people, and let me tell you, there are a lot of people out here that will try to put pity on you or feel pity when you guilt trip them and you call them out for not hanging with you because they want to do other things. Let them do other things. Don't beg for them to hang out with you. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm the type of person where I'm just like, if you fuck with me, you fuck with me. If you don't, all right, cool, whatever. You're on your own. We are all grown. I'm too grown to argue. I will give you hints to say I would like to hang out with you. I'd be like, so what you doing this weekend? Maybe we should celebrate. Just like I told um, my friend, quote unquote, that's out here in Virginia, who I really don't see. She called me earlier tonight, and she was like, "Guess what? I got a job, friend." I said, "That's good. I'm happy for you." I said, "So when we gonna celebrate?" And at first, she didn't answer me. She was just like, "I don't know. I mean, I gotta work, you know, on the food truck this weekend, and I gotta do this A to Z." I said, "That's cool." I said, "It's all good. If we never celebrate, it don't bother me anymore. I take it for what it is. I take it with a grain of salt. I still love you though. It's cool though, because I don't want to hear excuse after excuse of why you don't want to hang with me or why you're too busy to hang with me. I'm at the point where I'm just like, there's no return. I clearly see what you're about. I'm gonna leave you the fuck alone." And then I was just like, "So what you doing next weekend? Since you got your job now or whatever that you're gonna be starting next month." And she was like, "Oh, I'm getting my hair braided. I'm gonna probably drive up to Maryland with my cousin." And I was like, "Maryland? You're gonna drive like 3 hours to go get your hair braided when there's a braid shop probably an hour away from you? That's crazy to me. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why would you drive 3 hours to get your hair braided? Like, make it make sense. This is what I'm talking about, silly shit." So then I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And she was like, "Well, I could probably do something next weekend. I'll just let you know and see what's up. I have to see how I feel first." I said, "That's cool. Do you, boo?" Because like I said, I'm not gonna beg a motherfucker to hang out with me. I'm the type of person that will let you know what's up. You take it or you leave it and you get the hell on. Because I'm not gonna keep playing these games. No. But she's a good person, and I explained that to the ladies. I had talked about her to them too. And I explained like how people have been very wishy-washy ever since I moved out here, and I expected, you know, to really have a good time and hang out with people I've been knowing since day one for almost damn near 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then they don't even blink an eye to hang out with me ever since I've been here. I've been out here, y'all, for about 7 or 8 months, damn near almost a year. Half the year is gone, and I've only hung out with this person when I first moved here, and that was like back in March. I'm gonna be honest, like when we first hung out, we went to the mall. And that was it. We never hung out since. And I'm just like, what's your deal? And she told me she was going through a little something, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you ain't that damn sad. You hop your black ass on planes and shit. I mean, what's up? Like, just be real. This is what I'm talking about. Motherfuckers that don't want to be real with you, just take it or leave it. You can still be friends with them, but ultimately, you just have to make a decision whether you're going to entertain the silly shit or you're just going to keep them and tolerate them like they tolerate you and return the same energy in return. Call it a day. And I'm just like, the energy that you give me, you will get the same in return. I will not argue with you because I'm too old to argue. I'm not trying to stress myself out. I'm not trying to read your mind. If you don't tell me what's up, if you don't tell me how you're feeling, then I'm never going to know. I'm not going to probe you trying to figure out what your problem is with me because I just feel like this. It is what it is. But I'm happy for her. I told her, black ass, she better stay on this job though, because um, I said, as hard as the economy is, I said, the minute you job hop, you're going to be right back at square one, looking for another job for months and months, and you're going to complain. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care how low the pay is. It could be $20 an hour. It could be $23 an hour. It don't matter what it is. You stick to that motherfucker. You move up. You make connections, and you network yourself, and you sell yourself. That's what you do. And that's what I tried to explain to her. But she promised she gonna stay on this one. We shall see. She promised. But I told her, you know, just take it one day at a time. Take it easy. But yeah, I'm getting sleepy, y'all. I'm probably gonna get off of here soon since nobody wants to really talk. It's up to 12 o'clock. It's late. But sorry I got off topic. I just kept rambling about random shit. I don't know why. I just guess I have a lot of things in my mind. I just felt like talking. But the main subject of this live stream was that Girls Night Out was wonderful. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed hanging out with a mature crowd that don't like to twerk their ass in a fucking hole in the wall till like 3, 4 in the morning because I'm not doing that shit no more. Oh my God. Let me tell y'all before I go. There was this one chick I used to be friends with and hang out with in Texas who was always calling herself trying to compete with me because she was a skinny friend. I was the big back friend, the fat friend. And she would always have something fucking negative to say. And what was funny is that she was so insecure of her looks. I guess she had like body dysmorphia or something because she like gained weight, then she lost weight, then she gained weight. And she had the body of a Barbie doll. She was really pretty. I'm not gonna lie, she's like a model. But her attitude and her energy was so fucking stank. It turned me off. It turned me away. Because all I kept hearing was complain, 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 unhappy, unhappy, unhappy. And then when we did hang out, this hoe would go to hole in the walls in these little African clubs. Nothing against African people, but these little African clubs was hole in the walls. And motherfuckers was in there smelling musty as fuck, stank, and the ambiance was just not there. And majority of those little hole in the walls, they don't have good ventilation at all. And some of them were very smoky and smoked up. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, when we went up in there and we was dancing or whatever, I wasn't feeling it. And I was ready to go. But I only stood by her side because I wanted to make sure that she was okay before we went home. Because I said, since you drove damn near an hour away, I said, you're more than welcome to stay at my crib because I don't want you to have to drive so late and worry about drunk drivers on the road. And she was like, okay, cool. Because she was planning to drive back in the night and go all the way back home where she was living. So, anyway, this is how insecure she was. She was so insecure of her looks and her body dysmorphia issues She would wear these skimpy outfits, looking like a hooker, belly all out, hoochie coochie shorts, Daisy Duke skirts, whatever, with high thigh boots. And I get it. You know, you want to show off your body because you have the body of a Barbie doll. That's cool. But when you're 30 plus something years old and you're damn near pushing 40, the shit gets old. You gotta grow up sometime. That's the way I feel. I feel like this. Women that literally show off their bodies like that and they're like pushing 40 or pushing damn near 50, and they think because they're skinny they could just wear whatever and they're gonna attract everybody and everybody in their favor. That's not how the world works. People, and majority of the people that I've seen and witnessed have told me personally that they would rather talk with the chick with all her clothes on than the chick that don't have clothes on because they know that she's probably a more proper person to be around and she probably has goals in life. They said the hoes, or the 304s, is what they call them now. The girls that don't really wear clothing and they go in the hole in the walls and stuff. They said they're the dumbasses. They're the ones who think because they have the body of a goddess and they wear like pounds of makeup and lashes and quick weaves and shit, and they go into these clubs, they automatically think that the guys are going to flock to them. But in reality, what they don't understand is that when they do that, some guys get intimidated, believe it or not, by the way the woman looks with her clothes missing. And then some guys get turned off because she's missing clothes and she's not really fully clothed. It could go vice versa, either way. All I'm saying is that this chick wasn't in the right mindset. Her mindset was super immature. And I learned the hard way that you cannot be around certain circles or certain people like that with immature mindsets because all it's going to do is drag you down even worse. Because the people like that, they don't care about investing into their futures. They don't care about changing their damn environment. They're too busy trying to compete with the next project hoe in line. and, and the sad part of the story is that the dude that she was fucking with, I don't even know if she's still messing with him now, but at the time when we were talking, before we stopped talking, he was a pothead. He smoked weeds and tweeds all the damn time and didn't even work. And she said that he was a rapper, but never had studio time, never made an album, never had songs streaming anywhere, but said he was a rapper. I said rapper in training, maybe. He's not a professional rapper, and even if he was, I don't know why you're so excited about that. Why are you excited about somebody who's a rapper that doesn't really do shit, that's not hungry to go after, the music and the career, but spits a few freestyles and he calls himself a rapper? And here's my thing about it. My thing is this. If you're clearly a gold digger, say that. Because that's what that was. It was giving gold digger energy. She was a gold digger. And she thought she had one of the rich ones who was like the next wannabe Drake, whatever, wannabe Kendrick Lamar. And she just had an ain't shit nigga with no goals and who smoked weeds and tweeds all day. And that was it. That was her environment. And the sad part is, too, what I would let y'all know before I go, is that when I first met this chick, the chick I used to hang out with in Texas, she used to be ambitious. She used to be a very, very smart lady who took her life seriously at one point in her life. And she even attempted to go to trucking school to get her CDL to drive trucks. However, what I noticed about her is that every time she was influenced by a guy that she dated, whatever they were into, she would mimic them and be like, oh, me and so gonna get our trucking careers off the ground, and he's gonna have me in a truck, and he's gonna train me and teach me and do all this and X, Y, and Z. And guess what? She ended up dropping out of trucking school 6 months later. Then turns around and says, now that she's with the wannabe rapper who smokes pot all day, doesn't do shit with himself, she was just like, maybe you can work for me and him one day, and you can do our admin stuff since you're good with admin and da 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 da. I said, work for you and him one day. What are you talking about? Bitch, I don't want nothing to do with you and Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Because y'all are not professionals. One. And two, y'all don't have any careers established in this type of industry. I said, do you know how aggressive and demonic this music industry is? Do you understand what y'all are up against? It's not like it was back in the day where you can pop a CD and sell CDs on the street corners and out the trunks and expect to blow up and get famous. It's not like that anymore. I said the new industry is so crazy and so brainwashed with sorcery and witchcraft. It literally takes somebody to sell their damn soul to make it. And if you're not down with the evil and you don't sell your soul, you're not going to make it in the music business, unfortunately. But that's the sad reality of it. And when I told her that, she was like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You just talking that crazy shit." Da, 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 da. He knows somebody who knows somebody. He gonna put him in the studio. He gonna do this. He gonna do that. Da 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 da. And about a month later, 2 months later, absolutely crickets. Nothing but crickets. And I just shook my head, and I was just like, "Yeah, you will never learn." But I said, one day when you wake up from the bullshit, hopefully you stop gold digging and you really focus on what you want to do with your life and what you're interested in, what your passion is, then maybe, just maybe, you can stand on your own 2 feet and stop chasing behind a Negro that don't have shit going for himself at all. Because every time, like I said, she would be chasing behind these Negroes that she would be dating. It was always money this, money that, money this, money that, and still be in the same boat, in the same environment, in the same project neighborhood, with her mother, by the way, and a sister, and a sister's kid, all in one roof, in the middle of podunk nowhere, stickland, and she's been there practically her whole life. And the girl is like 35, I think now. She ought to be about 34, 35 years old. Practically grown ass woman. Still in the projects. Still with her mama. Still doing the same shit. And this is a prime example of you are a product of your environment. And if you don't get out of that said environment, then you're going to continue to be that said product. But I'm not going to preach on here no much longer. I'm going to get off of here because I've just been rambling and rambling and rambling for the past hour and a half, just thinking about things in the past and stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed this live. And if I do come back here, if I feel up to it, I'm probably not going to be back here tomorrow night. That's why I came on tonight, because of game night. But I might come back on here Sunday, depending on how I'm feeling from game night. We'll see. But y'all take care now. And before I go, I also wanted to show y'all my shirt. In case y'all had missed it, this is one of my new shirts I got from the TikTok shop. Y'all like it? It says, education is freedom on the bottom. I don't know if y'all can see the bottom, but I'm going to lift it up so y'all can see the bottom. Education is freedom. See? Education is freedom. But yeah, I love my TikTok shirt. This was only $2.99 on the TikTok shop, by the way. But anywho, I'm going to go now. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good night. Be blessed. Stay well. All right. Peace.